Have you read the book Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman? I think it's a must read. It's a really powerful book that helps us determine how we feel love and what we need to feel loved. And everybody's love language is different. And so I thought this was a really important thing to discover while you're trying to attract your soulmate. Because if you can identify how you need to feel loved, then you can communicate that, and then it helps you write your soulmate list and identify everything that you want in a partner and the relationship you want to create. And then once you start a relationship, you can read it together. John and I read this together so that we could discover how each other, needs to feel love, so we can give love. Because a lot of times, Gary says that a lot of relationships break down because we give love the way that we want to receive it, but it's not the same way. It may not be the same way as how your partner needs to receive it. And so I would definitely recommend it, but I want to go through the 5 love languages and talk about my experience with them and my stories with them. And, because mine are gift giving. I'm going to go through all 5, but gift giving and acts of service. And John's are like the other 3. I mean, literally, we don't have the same ones at all. Quality time and physical touch and words of affirmation. So I really need to know that so that I can give him love and show him love in the way that he really needs. And it is a need, I think. And he has another one that's 5 languages for singles. So I would definitely pick that up. The first love languages is words of affirmation. And I think that I think it's always our experience that makes us determine what's important to us and what we really need. I have been conned and lied to and wined and dined and manipulated, and I've fallen for words so many times over and over and over and over. It's just not on my top. It's not even, I don't even care. And it's because of my experience. It's because I was single for so long and I dated, so many people. I heard so many people say I love you when they didn't, as just something that you say. I heard, you're so pretty, you're so beautiful. And they're just trying to manipulate me to get me to do what they wanted to do. They just wanted to get me into bed or get me to go out with them again or whatever. I had in my, 7 minutes on the Tinder app, that was horrible. But one dude I hadn't even met literally texted me or sent me a message, I don't remember, saying, I want you to come over so I can feel your height. I'm like, feel my height? I mean, are you serious? Does that actually work? I can't even believe someone would say that. Does that actually work on somebody? Like, he's literally going through his phone trying to see who's desperate enough to come over. He can't even get his ass off the couch. It was disgusting. I feel sorry for anybody who's dating that lazy asshole. Excuse me. But, I really have worked, and it's an entire lifetime journey for me, and I think for a lot of us, to really feel like I am worthy and I am good enough. And, I've spent my whole life thinking I'm fat and too big and, all these stupid things that your inner bitch tells you. I wanted to strive to believe that I'm good and I'm worthy and I'm beautiful the way I am, no matter what weight, no matter what size. And it's something that I have to work for every single day. And I believe that it's so important for us to feel that way, good about ourselves, that I really strive to not need somebody to tell me. Now, of course, it takes, it feels great. Like if I'm working out really hard and I want to drop a few and, John says you look great, it does feel great. It's just not my top love language because I really, really want to believe it for myself. I want to believe it for myself so I don't need validation from another person, because I spent 40 years needing validation from men to feel good about myself. I remember when I was a teenager, one of my best friend's dad used to call me raccoon, because of the dark circles under my eyes, that even if I put makeup on them, you can still see them. And I can't believe, how horrible is that to say to a 14-year-old girl? And I didn't really even know what he was talking about. He called me raccoon. I was like, okay. And now I know that that's so cruel. And he thought it was funny. And But, I want to feel good about myself, but words of affirmation are really important to John. He had horrible parents, and, he just had so much abuse his whole life. His adopted dad called him it and said, "Do you want it?" It called him it. His adopted mom was a full-blown alcoholic and abused him, and he never had anybody say good job. He never had anybody tell him anything encouraging or anything kind his entire life. And that's really, really, really important to him. And I have to remember that every single day. You tell him he looks hot, he looks great, I love his tie, I love his suit. He picks out his outfits the night before. He wants to show them to me. I have to remember that's really important to him. And you look great. I love the tie. I love the suit. Because he needs to know that I think he looks good and he's a good husband. He needs to hear it. And I know that. So that's why you need to know your partner's love language, so you can make sure, because it's not important to me, but it's important to him. Love language number 2 is quality time. I didn't have this on my top most important thing. I think because I know it's a priority, and if you're married to the right person, it's not hard or difficult to spend time together and go on dates and do fun things and plan vacations. But I think that it's on John's top of the list because we get busy. I mean, we are busier than ever, and I'm a total workaholic. And when I'm in that zone, and I get emails all the time from 4 a.m. to, midnight every single day, because I have, vendors and artists and designers all over the country in different time zones. So I always I could constantly work. I could literally just work from 18 hours a day. If I don't consciously turn off the phone, turn off the notifications, and turn my brain off, which is very difficult. And I struggle with this. And I have to be really conscious. I have to, the quality time matters on every day. It doesn't matter if you have a week in Mexico 9 months ago. I mean, 9 months from now, anybody can have romance then, and anybody can have a great time. As soon as you get back, you have your normal day-to-day, getting the kids, all your appointments, people get sick, people lose stuff, they have, you got to figure out dinner, you got softball, you got football, you got everybody. We all have all this stuff. And then in that day-to-day, I get, sucked up in it, and I've got my brain, I can't turn my brain off. So I really have to work really hard at turning my brain off. And, the best thing we did, I mentioned this earlier, is just start walking at the end of the day. So as soon as he gets home, we throw on our shoes and we go outside and we walk. We walk for 3 miles. And that's when we can really connect, and that's what real quality time is. I don't answer my phone. I don't even look at it, and that's been a really good thing. Pro tip. Love language number 3 is receiving gifts, and this is my love language. I don't know why. I don't really give a shit about Louis Vuitton, $3,000 stupid bags. I think that's a waste of money. I don't care about fashion or designers or Gucci belts. I don't care about any of that. That's not what it's about. I don't care if the gift costs $5. What matters to me is that, somebody listened and they heard me and they thought of something that I would really like because maybe I mentioned it earlier or whatever. I love doing the same thing. I love finding something or surprising people, something that they would really like, and I love being there when they open it. That's just how I know I'm loved, because somebody heard me. I think that's one of the reasons. I am heard, I'm understood, and they thought I would really like something, even if it's $10. It has nothing to do with the money or the actual gift itself. It's all the thought and the intention and the effort that went into doing it. So this last, on our anniversary, John bought me brand new hiking shoes. I can't even believe he can buy shoes for me that fit, because I have wide feet and I'm like 9.5, and every shoe is uncomfortable, but he found the perfect shoes, because he saw that the week before my tread was getting really thin on my hiking shoes. I wasn't even thinking about buying hiking shoes. I didn't ask for hiking shoes. I never mentioned it, nothing. We never had a conversation about it, and he found the perfect shoes and he gave them to me on our anniversary. How cool is that? I feel loved when somebody wants to get something that I need, or I really love, and he knows that. And that's not really his love language, even though I love giving him things, but that's not on the top of his lips. But he he knows that, and he does it because it matters to me and it makes me happy. And the love language number 4 is acts of service. And I think because of number 1, because I've been lied to and conned to and manipulated, I'm falling for words over and over and over again, people that say they love me and they don't at all. I believe that love is an action verb, and I believe that you show love by doing things, taking things off my plate. I had on my soulmate list, my soulmate shows me he loves me by helping me and taking things off my plate. That's how important it was. And I don't know if it was because I was a single mom. I don't know if it was because, I used to get really stressed out. I used to be overwhelmed on having to manage everything and do everything alone. And I don't know why we have these love languages. I'm not a therapist. I'm sure my therapist would know. I should call her. And, but I know that that's important to me. And I don't even ask John to do things. He calls Whole Foods and brings home dinner, probably like 3 times a week. He takes care of all the dry cleaning. He does the dishes every day. He is constantly taking things off my plate. And that's not just like to brag. I feel like when I say good things about my husband, everyone's like, oh, stop talking about your perfect husband. No, I'm not at all. I just really focused on what I wanted to create. And I wanted someone who has served and helped and considerate and helpful. And so while I was single and I was reading and I was editing and I was focused on what I wanted to create, I made sure that I was as compassionate as I could be. And I tried to find ways to give gifts, and I tried to find ways to help and find ways to serve and people that I could take things off their plate so that I could track somebody who did the same thing. And then now that I know that that's my love language, that I can communicate to him. I mean, I don't even remember communicating that to them. He just knows. He just knows instinctively that, and he just does it. He lives for doing things for me, and it makes him feel good. He knows he makes me feel good, and that's why I hired him. That's what I tell him all the time. That's why I hired you, honey. The last love language, number 5, is physical touch. And when I first read those 2 words, I literally thought, oh my God, please don't tell me how important sex is. And that's all men think about. They literally only care about sex. They think about sex. That's all they want. That's all that matters to them. It's like, seriously, I don't want to hear it. It's gross. I mean, can't men want something else? However, obviously, that's my filter from my past, my experiences, my sexual abuse, and my past relationships, right? So everything that we believe and we think, that's our filter from our story based on what we've experienced in the past. And that's absolutely not true at all. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of men that are monsters, but there's millions that aren't, and they're wonderful, amazing people. But physical touch and sex is very important, and extremely important to your health and vitality and your joy and your fulfillment in life. I absolutely know, because if our intimacy suffers, then everything suffers. Every single thing suffers. And our intimacy is right on, and we make sex a priority, we make romance a priority, then everything is better. Every single thing, every other area of your life is better. And I know that from experience now. But physical touch has nothing to do with sex, actually. It's actually about just physical touch outside the bedroom. And when I read this, I realized that that's my husband's number 1, and it's a lot of men's number 1 love languages. They need to be touched and hugged and kissed, and he needs me to feel his biceps and touch his butt when I go by, because you get busy and stressed and you're thinking about work and kids and sickness and appointments and all that stuff. I forget. I just walk by him. I don't give him a kiss as much. I don't, touch his back as much. I don't give him a quick hug as much as you do at the beginning of the relationship. It's easy to do all that. I don't know. It just comes naturally, and then you get busy and you get focused on other things, and then you forget. So I have to remember this. Of course, everybody needs to be touched. I mean, there's tons of research that shows, it proves that humans literally have to have physical touch in order to thrive and survive. And I need it too. However, it's the most important thing for John, and I need to make sure that he is loved, and so that he knows that I care about what's important to him. And I have to remember this. I have to touch his butt. I got to do all that. I do. I remember, and I make sure that I do. And then another Tony Robbins quote is, he said, if you do what you did in the beginning of the relationship, there won't be an end. So I really believe that to be true, and I'm no relationship expert. I just love the love languages, and I think it's really important to everyone to know them and learn them and discover what's important to them and discover what's important to everyone that you love, because you have the love, you find out the love languages of your kids and your friends and your sisters and brothers and your mom and dad, and then you can give them the love in the way that they need it, and magnify and strengthen all of your relationships. So it's such a powerful thing. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you go to Gary Chapman's website is the number 5 lovelanguages.com, and read the book, do the quiz. It'll tell you what your love languages are. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me a lot. And there's lots of good stuff and good content and freebies on my website, mrskarenstanley.com. If you want to check it out and sign up for my newsletter, and send a weekly newsletter with strategies and tips and inspiration. And I'm wishing you lots and lots and lots and lots of love. Mwah.